Hey, what's up, guys? All the new subscribers, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for tuning into the channel. I really do appreciate it. All the likes, the shares, the comments, man, it's overwhelming. I love it. I appreciate it. I never thought it would go this way. But I got a pretty legit question, and I've thought about it all day long because I wanted to give an honest answer. So I'm going to tell you the textbook way to do this. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you what I would do. I'm a different breed. I'm a different kind of person, but I'm going to tell you what I would do. So the question was, I'm 65,000 in debt, credit card debt, and I make a minimum of my minimum payment is $1,000 a month. To make a long question short, because we had a small conversation through the platform, but to make a long question short, I'm 65K in debt. I make $1,000 a month minimum payment, which is the minimum payment. I make that every month. After I make the minimum payment, I'm having to borrow back. So basically, he's having to rob Peter to pay Paul. He's spending his money to make the payment, and then he's having to borrow the money back just for, basic needs. So you mentioned that you have a family, so I'm assuming you have a wife, a couple kids, one child, 2, 3. We didn't cover that much, and we did not cover your household income. That would have been actually really helpful. But without that, I'm going to go over a couple scenarios. The one and the easiest and fastest scenario that you can honestly do to get yourself out of this mess is if your wife works, you guys live off the highest income, whoever makes the most money, and then whoever makes the least, you apply that to this credit card debt. So let's just say that both of you together are making a minimum of $20 an hour, which is $40,000 a year, together $80,000. That both of you make $20 an hour a piece. So that means you make $80,000 a year household income. You would live off of one, and then you would apply the other. So you would live off of yours. You would pay your mortgage or rent and your lights, water, gas, and all your utilities, necessities, and things would live off of that 40. It can be done. I know it's not sexy, but it can be done. And then your wife's income would apply. You would apply all of that to the credit card debt. Now, that scenario is where you're going to find out if you have a teammate or an opponent. Because from my own personal experiences, most women do not like to apply their money to pay off debt. So hopefully you and your wife are on the same page. Hopefully you guys share the same, hopes and dreams and values, and, you want to move forward together on this financial journey. That way you guys can create wealth for yourself, because this is a process, man. This is a freaking process. And if you guys aren't on the same page, I'm just going to tell you now, it's probably not going to happen. And everybody out there with some age on them that's either been married, divorced, or single, doesn't matter. If you're not on the same page as your partner, whether business or personal, if you guys are not on the same page, that business will fail. And a marriage is ultimately a business. So honestly, I tell people all the time, you need to conduct yourself, get to become the CEO of your own life. Well, you guys just entered a partnership when you got married. So you're business partners now. And so that's where you'll find out if you got a teammate or an opponent. Most marriages actually end. Most people think it's cheating, but it's really due to financial. Most marriages and divorces actually occur because of financial reasons. So the easiest thing you can do, live on one income and apply the full income of the other party to this credit card and get that thing out. $65,000 credit card, man, I hate to hear that. That sucks. I know it. The interest rate alone is probably eating that 1,000 up. It's insane. You're probably getting nowhere on it. You're going to have to start tackling that thing, $3,000-$4,000 a month to get it out of your life. And it'll be gone within a year. You'll have it. It'll be gone in no time. This thing will be gone in 2025, if you do it that way. So there's that option. It's pretty self-explanatory. You're just going to have to cut some things out of your life and do that. So with that being said, I need you to understand that, the situation you're in sucks, man. And there's no way to get out of this without saying goodbye to something. You have to let something go. There is no way to move forward without leaving something behind. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care who you are, where you think you're going. Doesn't matter if it's you, if it's me, if it's the guy next door. Doesn't matter if you're LeBron James, Michael Jordan. It does not matter. If you're trying to get somewhere, if you're trying to get somewhere far and fast, you're going to have to leave a lot of shit behind. If you're just trying to get somewhere, then you can just dump a couple things along the way here and there. But if you're trying to haul ass and get there, man, you can't carry a bunch of baggage with you. It's impossible. There's no possible way to do it. So a lot of things, you're going to have to cut some stuff out of your life. That is basically going into my scenario number 2 of cutting the fat. And I actually did this to pay off my debt. I was $40,000 in debt, and I did this and want high interest rates, high interest rates, horrible. Anyways, I cut the fat on mine. So I quit smoking cigarettes. I quit drinking alcohol. I've never been a drug user. Wasn't really my thing. I mean, I've smoked weed in the past, but drugs aren't my thing. I'm not into that. But I cut the fat. No fast food, no going out to eat, no Texas Roadhouse, no movies, no dates, no bars, no clubs, no nothing, no drugs, no drinking, no alcohol, no cigarettes, no nothing. Straight cut the fat. I bought no clothes. Whatever was in my closet is what I wore. I looked stupid for a while. I really did. I looked really dumb for a while. I wore old shoes and old jeans and this and that. All my clothes became work clothes, and that's all I did. Excuse me. I went to work. That was all I did, was go to work. I ended up selling my car to pay off debt faster. Got rid of that. I rode a bicycle around. I went to the extreme. Like I told you, like I said, I'm a different breed. I went to the extreme, and that's what I did. So cut the fat out of your life. That is scenario number 2 to get this thing gone, at cutting the fat. The more fat you can cut, the faster you can get this gone. 65K, man, if your wife doesn't work and it's just your income, then I would start figuring out where can we cut our expenses. And you got kids, so I get it, man. You can't get rid of the Netflix and the internet. And I'm not telling you to do that. If it was just you, I'd tell you to do it. I'd tell you to go live in a tent. I really would. And I'm not even exaggerating, because I would. So anything I ever tell you to do is something that I have done or am willing to do. And I'm not lying about that. There's no exaggeration when I say that. I would live in a tent and work my job. If I was making 50 or 60 a year and I had $60,000 worth of debt and I wanted that shit gone, I would be calling the credit company, seeing what I could settle for. They're gonna raise the bar high. If you owe $10,000, they're gonna say, oh, well, we can settle for 8. And it's like, well, I got 5, and they're gonna do it because they want the money. Now, but you've been actively paying on this, so they're not going to settle. They only settle normally for old debts. So I wouldn't even consider that right now, but you're going to have to cut the fat somewhere. It does not matter which way you want to go with this. It does not matter. Something's getting left behind. I don't care if your wife starts to work and you use her income like scenario 1 and pay it off, or you cut the fat on cigarettes, tobacco, whatever, and you start paying it off in that manner. Doesn't matter. Something's getting left behind. And so what I mean by it is not always, sometimes the things that you leave behind are not always going to, are not always going to be fast food and alcohol. Sometimes you're going to sacrifice your time. Sometimes, though, dad's not going to be there for a birthday. May not be able to be there for Christmas. I've worked every Christmas for the past 5 years. I've worked every holiday, actually, for the past 5 years. Dad may not be there for Christmas. Dad might show up to Thanksgiving late. I'll be getting my Thanksgiving dinner later. It just is what it is, man. You're going to have to go back to some of those old school tried and true methods. And that's what my channel is mainly about. It's just that old school mentality, because that's what I am. That's what I was raised around, and that's who I am. But I know what you're wanting to hear is what I would do. Well, those 2 scenarios that I gave you are pretty good. They're pretty easy. They're pretty self-explanatory, right? Live off your income, have your wife pay off the debt. There's that option. Start cutting the fat out of your life, scenario 2, and, see where you can make some major budget cuts. And there's that option. If you got an extra vehicle, sell it. If you got things in the garage you don't need, sell it if you can. If you want to go that route, do what you can do. There's that, start making some major budget cuts, cut the fat out of your life, self-explanatory. But if you're asking what I would do, and I feel like that's what you were asking, I'm telling you, man. So you got to be a different kind of dude, man, for what I'm getting ready to tell you to do. So let me go ahead and start off by saying this is not financial advice. Do not put yourself or your family in a bad situation. And you really got to cross your T's and dot your I's. So first and foremost, you need to make sure that your living situation is squared away. You're not getting ready to move. There's going to be no major purchases. I can't say that. I got my freaking retainer in. There's going to be no major purchases and for the next couple years. So you need to make sure that you and your family are squared away, that where you're living at is where you're going to be living at. You don't plan on moving. You don't plan on trying to rent a new place or buy a home or buy a new car, because there's going to be none of that. If you're going down the road that I'm about to explain to you, there's going to be none of that. So let's make sure that our living situation is stable. I can't stress that enough, because if you go down this road, you ain't going to be screwed, because what I'm telling you to do, you'll be fine. You'll be cash heavy. But I think some of the other people that have been watching the channel already know what I'm going to tell you to do, man. And I'm going to tell you to stop paying on the credit card. Because right now you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're barely hanging on by a thread. You're freaking basically making the minimum payment and then putting yourself back in debt, making the payment, putting yourself back in debt, all for one reason and one reason only. And that's because society tells you that you need to keep a good credit score and be a good boy so you can have that good little old credit score. That way, if you need to go buy something else and get yourself in debt, ultimately, like in the video that me and you've been chatting under, the ultimate goal is to pay off debt, not to borrow money again, right? You want to get debt free so you can start building wealth for you and your family, right? That's what it is. That's what everybody tells you. That's what Mr. Ramsey says, and so on and so on. And I get it. I completely understand all that. But I'm going to tell you right now, because you're in a crappy situation, is to stop paying on the card. Now, if you're a weak-minded person and you have no discipline, don't do this. So we need to make sure our living situation is stable. Everything around us, my environment, my economy needs to be stable. Okay? Kids are good, wife's good, car's running good, our home's good. We're locked in next 3 to 5 years. We don't need nothing. Because you got $65K of debt, it's going to take you a minute. If you're making $1,000 a month payment, I'm going to take that $1,000 a month. I'm not going to leave it into the bank, because your accounts can be levied. That's rare for a credit card, but it can happen with that amount if that's one credit company. It's possible that they could levy your account. You know, they could get a court order to make that happen. I am going to stop paying on that credit card. I don't know what you purchased with it. If you bought vehicles or something, it might not be a bad idea to dump the cars. I mean, honestly, if you're in that situation, then I would look at that and say, hey, let me go ahead and dump these cars and get them out of here, and then apply that money back to the credit card. And, figure out a different way to work. I mean, to make it, man, because I'm telling you, this is hard. This shit ain't for the weak. It's hard. And what you're about to go through, you're the epitome of your first 100,000. I was in your shoes. I know exactly what you're about to go through, the hurt, the pain, the embarrassment. And I'm serious, man. You're about to lose people. Because there are going to be people that aren't going to believe that you can do this. There are going to be people that's not going to believe in you. Man, I don't have any friends or anything like that. And it's not, I don't say that lightly like I'm sad about it. I just don't find, that's what I created this channel for. Because it was hard for me to find like-minded people that were going through the same crap that I went through or that I'm going through, because I'm past the stage that you're at. So I was already there. I dug myself out of that, and now I've pushed forward into something else. So if it were me, I'm stop paying on the credit card. My living situation's good. I'm quit paying on the credit card. I'm stacking that $1,000 a month. I'm saving it. If you're a weak-minded person, like I said, and you got no discipline, don't do this. Just continue to pay on the card. Go back to steps 1 or 2. One of those scenarios, use your wife's income or cut the fat out of your life, sell some cars, whatever you got to do. Typical financial piece stuff, all right? But I am going to take that $1,000 a month for the next year, and here's a secret. Now, you guys don't tell my secret, but if you're worried about safety of money in your home, put it in the freezer. You can freeze it. However you want to freeze it, you can freeze it. I learned this from my grandmother. She would take 2 hams, put it just wet them a little bit, and her money would be in a Ziploc bag, and she would freeze them between 2 hams. And so they just frost over, and there you go. You got 2 hams froze together in the freezer with money between them. House catches on fire, it won't burn up. Burglar, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's stealing the ham out of the freezer, kind of thing. So there you go. Just a quick tip scenario. But I am going to stack that $1,000 a month for as long as I want to. I'm just going to let my credit go. Years ago, I wouldn't have told you to do this. I paid off my debt. Like I said in that video, I paid off my debt twice. I wouldn't have told you to do this. I'd have told you to get debt free, pay off your debt, do the right thing, blah, 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 all that good stuff. But knowing what I know now, also, you have to self-educate and start learning. What are you saving this money for? What are you trying to do? What is the end game? So what's the plan after the debt? Okay, so you paid off the $65K in debt, and then what? What was your plan? Were you going to start flipping houses? Were you going to try and buy a home? What were you going to try and do after paying off the debt? So once you and your wife sit down and figure this out, again, you guys are a partnership. You're married, so you guys got to figure this out together. What was the plan? Was it to pay off the $65K and then just run amok on a spending spree, just spending everything you make? What was it, start investing heavy in a 401k? What was the plan? So whatever that plan was, I'm not going to talk about 401ks and Roth IRAs and things like that at this moment, but I'm assuming that you don't have an emergency fund, since you're having to borrow from the 65. After you pay the 1,000, you're having to take money back off of it every month. So that's why I'm telling you to do this, because if you do this for the year, let me backtrack for 1 second. Let's say you like my idea and you want to run with what I'm saying right now of not paying on this card. Don't play games with this. This is serious. You have to want this out of your life. You have to want this as bad as you want to breathe. Everything I'm telling you to do, when I was sleeping on that floor, looking up at the ceiling, homeless, I wanted this shit as bad as I wanted to breathe. I didn't want any friends. I didn't want a girlfriend. I didn't want nobody around me. I didn't want you to waste my time. If you weren't going to help me get to where I was trying to go, I didn't want you anywhere near me. All I wanted to do was go to work and get this gone. Go to work and pay. Work and pay. That's all I did. That's all I did, man. That's it. I can't stress that enough. I did nothing but go to work and pay. So don't play around with this. If you're going to do what I'm telling you to do, then take it as serious as a heart attack. You have to want this as bad as you want air in your lungs. So I quit paying on the credit card. I start saving $1,000 a month. Like I said, let me backtrack a little bit. If you choose to do this, let's go ahead and start getting Christmas and everything out of the way now. You got kids, you got a family. Let's just stop paying on the card now. It doesn't matter. If you stop now or if you stop January 1st, it doesn't matter. Stopping. Let's start taking that $1,000 a month and let's get through the holidays for the family. I'm serious now. Listen to me, man. I know this video is getting a little long, but you know what? I don't care. You guys just bear with me when my videos be long, because the stuff I try to tell people, I'm trying to give them a solid answer. If you don't want to listen to it, cut it off. I've had a couple people in the comments kind of complain about it. I don't really care. Cut it off. There's plenty of other YouTubers. There's plenty of other people to go out there and listen to, man. Cut it off. So look, let's get Christmas out of the way. Let's get the holidays out of the way. Let's enjoy the holidays 2024 with our family. Don't sacrifice that, because when you go down this road, you're about to become a different person. Excuse me. There's no way to do this without shifting and shaping yourself. So let dad, as the kids know him, get the holidays out of the way. Let's enjoy Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Start buying Christmas presents so they don't break the bank when Christmas comes. Everybody take that advice. I'd start buying Christmas. I actually started a while back, like a couple months ago. I pick up one thing here and there, but you guys do it how you need to do it. But start buying Christmas, getting that out of the way. Let's enjoy the holidays. Come January 1st, man, that's going to be your New Year's resolution. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I think every day is a day, every second is a second, every minute doesn't matter. You can change your life at any given minute. It does not matter. You just have to want it. If it's important to you, you'll do something about it. Tom Cruise. So listen, man, I'm going to cut all the fat out of my life come January 1st. Me and the family, we're enjoying the holidays this year. I'm not paying on the credit card no more. I've already made my mind up. This is done. I'm not paying on this anymore. My credit's going to falter. It's going to fall to the side. I don't care. I don't have any purchases that I want to make. My living situation is good. But up here, I got a plan. I know what I'm doing and I know where I'm going. Come January 1st, I'm going to build my emergency fund. You've been paying $1,000 a month. So 2025, I'm going to, every month, I'm putting that $1,000 in an envelope. $1,000 in an envelope. My credit's going to go to shit. I don't care. The whole plan was to never use it again anyway, right? Right? The whole plan was to never go back into debt once I paid off the 65, right? So I'm building my emergency fund of $12,000. I go ahead and I just save that $1,000 a month for the next year of 2025. Now I got $12,000. Once you've done that and you see how hard that is, and it's fun because now you got a stack of cash at home that you don't tell people about. We don't brag to the mom. We don't brag to our neighbors. We don't tell a soul. All right. We don't tell anybody. I got 12 grand emergency fund right there. I say you really only need 10. 10 usually carries most households about 3 months. That's just bare bones. I've talked about that in my other videos. Basic survival rate. How much does it cost for you to live on planet Earth? That's something you got to figure out for you and your family. What is your basic survival rate? What does it cost for us to live on planet Earth? Lights, water, gas, mortgage, or rent, food, things like that. Not Netflix, not cell phones, blah, blah, blah. Not all these other things, just straight basic caveman survival. What does it cost for us to live? So once you figure that out, that helps too. So, but going through this process, I've let my credit go. Already a little bit early. Credit's already gone. I'm saving my $1,000 a month. I got myself to 12 grand. 2025, I make 12, I got $12,000 saved. But I'm not just doing that. I'm self-educating. I'm learning all the Microsoft Office programs. I'm learning Excel. I'm learning PowerPoint. I'm not plugged in with this school, so this is not, but I'm going to, Corporate Financial Institute, CFI. Google them. I'm going to CFI and I'm learning about finance. Okay, I'm going to PMI. I'm going and getting my Project Management Institute. I'm going to PMI. I'm getting my project management certificates. Let's start figuring out a way to raise our income. I know I'm starting to sound like old Dave right now, but it's true. So let's figure out, I don't know what you make. So if you make great money, then stay there. Just keep doing what you're doing. If you can save more, save more. But let's figure out a way to start raising our income. Self-educate. We got our emergency fund established. 2026 rolls around. Let's go back to the debt. Let's go back to the debt. We got a 12K emergency fund. Let's go repeat the process that we had in 2024. Let's just start doing this again. Let's start paying this off. But since it's been a year, you might be able to settle some. That's that possibility. It's been a year of no contact. You might be able to settle some. I know this sounds like horrible information to somebody out there listening, to other people. But if you've never been down in the trenches, if you've never been in the struggle, then you don't know, then you have no idea. You got to do what you got to do to get yourself ahead. You at least got to get some leg room, some breathing ground, something. You got to do what you got to do to get yourself moving forward. So if you take a year off from that debt and you stack that $1,000 a month payment, that will allow you to have a $12,000 emergency fund. Yes, your credit's shot, but we weren't going back that way anyway right now. So now here comes 2026. Okay? You got to be able to think this far ahead. Make you a vision board if you need to. I'm going to discuss on vision boards a little bit later, but make you one if you need to. You need to set these goals down. 2025, I save $1,000 a month. That gives me $12,000. 2026, I revert back to the debt, but maybe I found a better job by then that pays a little bit more. Maybe now I can put $1,500 or $2,000 a month on it. Maybe my wife is able to start doing these things like this. Or maybe we save the wife's money and I continue on with my money. Maybe we cut frivolous spending and we save the wife's paychecks and I continue on paying that $1,000 a month. There's plenty of ways to tackle this. But just in case it's just your income, what I just told you to do will work. Make sure your living environment, your economy is good. You're not moving. Cars are okay. Everything's okay. Quit paying on the credit card. Save that $1,000 a month right there. Get you a $12,000 emergency fund, January to December. I got $12,000, 2025. I got that tucked away at the home. I don't tell people about it. And in 2026, I revert back around to the debt and I start paying off on that. I see if I can settle some. Hopefully I can. But regardless, I have a $12,000 emergency fund set to the side for when bad things happen. Not even if, when bad things happen. I got 12 grand setting to the side. I'm rocking and rolling, man. You can move better when you know you got cash money sitting to the side. You get fired, you got a little bit of money. Everybody that's got cash, on hand knows exactly what I'm talking about. You move better, you sleep better, you hold your head a little bit higher, knowing that, hey man, I got 20, 30 grand stuck away. I'm doing all right. You just move better, man. Forget the credit. Stack the cash, come back to the credit in 2026. Maybe the wife finds a job then. However, like I said, I don't know you guys' complete story, but any one of those scenarios will work. But like I said, man, there's no way to do this without leaving something behind. There's going to be no way to do this without cutting the fat somewhere. Something's getting left behind. And don't think about your kids. And what I mean by that is don't think about them in the sense that, I can't do this and that to them, or we got to be able to, do our Friday family dinners at Texas Roadhouse or something. No, you don't. The best thing you can give a child is poverty. Andrew Carnegie said that, and he grew up poor as shit. And I believe it, because when you're left with nothing, all you have are thoughts of getting something. How can I get something? How can I get somewhere? How can I do this? How can I do that? I want a better life. How do I get it? How do I get it? When you're left with nothing, all you have are choices to go get something. So the best thing you can give a child is poverty. It doesn't sound like you're going to be in poverty making $1,000 a month credit card payments. It doesn't sound like poverty to me. There are people out there that wish they were making that, but just don't care, so they don't. So just for simple fact that you were able to run one up to 65K lets me know that you're doing all right. You're just not doing too well with your finances. So you got money in there somewhere. You guys are doing okay. It sounds like you really need to cut the fat. Something tells me, man, if what I'm seeing, I hope I'm right, but something tells me you probably got 2 cars, you and the family. Sounds like somebody needs to get rid of one, and then y'all need to carpool to school and work and do what you got to do. You dump the car, apply that money to the credit card, apply that, there's a lot of things you could do to get out of this. But it's going to take you, if you go straight at that credit card, it should take you 2 years. Unless your wife's willing to cut her whole paycheck to it, it'll probably take you a year and some change. If you do it the way I'm telling you to do it, it's going to take you 3 or 4, because you're going to have to come back to that credit card. Unless you just keep stacking cash, and then you keep stacking cash and start flipping houses or something and start bringing in extra income for yourself. But that's basically it in a nutshell, man. I know it's probably not what you wanted to hear. You want me to snap my fingers and make it disappear, but that's only on television, Bubba. It don't happen in real life, and I hate that for you, man. But because I know what you're getting ready to go through. But dude, the person that you're going to become after this, forged in fire, man. I'm telling you that you're going to look at the world, business, banking in such a different light after you come out on top, because you're going to come out on top, man. You're going to get through this. It sucks. It really does. Don't try to impress people. Don't nothing. Forget everybody. Forget them. This sucks. but you can do it. I did it. I did it alone. So this is something that when you finish this, if you really, because all the free time that you're going to have, I had no choice but to sit down and start to self-educate. I had to teach myself. I had to figure out, what were these people doing to get massively rich? What were they doing? So I started studying them. This is what I did. I studied successful people. I studied rich people, and I started figuring out what they were doing to get rich. So yeah, you can take the old, don't borrow money, this, that. Most of them leverage debt. We're not going to cover that right now because we're not there. We're trying to get away from this 65 negative. So you can do any of those scenarios that you like. I mean, man, if your wife works, that's the safest bet. Applying her income to the debt and getting out of it. And like I said, that's the safest bet. That's where you'll find out if you got a teammate or an opponent, and it will change both of your lives. The next scenario is just to start cutting the fat. Sell the car, stop going out to eat, put down the cigarettes or the alcohol, stop buying clothes, all that type of stuff. Cut the fat. And the third scenario, my scenario, is stop paying on the card, apply that $1,000 to savings, not in the bank, because you don't want your accounts levied if that credit card company comes after you. You apply that money into wherever safely in your home and store it. You have $12,000 at the end of the year. That way you have a nest egg, an emergency fund, and then in 2026, you come back to the debt. You're going to have to pay off the debt at some point or another, or file bankruptcy. I mean, I'd rather just pay it off than file bankruptcy, but it depends. I mean, I don't know, man, if you can accumulate, if you got a whole bunch of debt, I don't know, $65K on a credit card, that sucks, but it's not the end of the world. With your wife's help, I mean, man, you guys could have that done in less than 2 years, but you're going to have to just hunker down and do it. Anyways, man, I hope that helps. I really do. Let me know if you got anything out of this video, what you think, what scenario you think you might go with. I'd really like to know. I'd like to know what happens to you. So I know that's a lot of those are probably not the answers you want to hear. I know you probably want to hear just wake up and it be gone, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be there and it's going to haunt you forever. Because, there was a period in my life where I tried to skip the debt. It comes back around, man. It's going to get you somewhere in there. It's going to come back to you. So you're going to have to see this through one way or another, whichever way, avenue you choose. It's going to have to get done. Anyways, man, I'm going to jump off here. I hope that helps. Let me know what you come up with. If you guys got any value out of this, let me know. Hit the like button. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. If you got any questions, matter of fact, I'm probably going to come out with the email address or something so people can email me a question. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll do the best I can to answer them. Give you the most honest information and advice that I can possibly give you. The more detail you give me, the better. You don't have to give me your complete address and full name and all your personal information, but household income, wife, kids, how many, what you got going on, so I can kind of break things down on a piece of paper. That helps out a ton. But if you guys got any questions, man, I'll do the best I can to give you my solid, honest advice. Anyways, you guys have a good night and take care.